Hey there, so welcome back. As mentioned before in previous video, this one I'm going to be talking about some of the bullying I endured growing up and how that kind of shaped me as a person back then and probably who I am today, or how I have turned it around or whatnot. So hopefully it won't be a long one and I can just spit out the words. So let's get started. I know I mentioned in previous videos the bullying I endured from a girl across the street from me, Brandy, and that bullying happened near and around the home I was raised, which was an apartment complex, and also at school. I ran into her, I think it was junior high. I think she was going to the junior high I was going to. I can't quite remember. And I started becoming interested in guys, or at least one was becoming interested in me, and he was older. And back then, it was cool to be an 8th grader and date like a sophomore or a junior or something like that. I know it sounds so completely weird and creepy today, but times were different, very different. And of course, if our parents knew, that wouldn't be okay. But actually, some parents at that time didn't find it strange. Anyway, so I was walking home with my best friend, Chantel, at the time, and a couple of our friends, and the guy that had interest in me, and vice versa, and they knew. And my bully, Brandy, had ran into me and seen that I was walking home. I just really don't know what it was that this girl didn't like about me. Maybe the fact that I looked better than her because she was a big girl and I wasn't. Maybe because I might have been prettier than her because she didn't really look like a girl and boys were interested in me and not her. I don't know. I really don't know because I wasn't the type of person to care about that shit. I didn't grow up being jealous of anybody. I grew up learning to not be jealous of anybody because I got told that I was a jealous person for certain things that other people had that I didn't. And even though I said, no, that's not how I'm thinking, people still thought that I was jealous of them. Either way, so we're walking home and this girl is harassing me, shoving me, and nobody's really doing anything about it, which is, it makes you feel completely isolated and alone and scared. And, I was taught, don't get in a fight at home, but we're here on the street and I don't know what's going to happen to me. I wasn't a fighter as far as if I didn't have to fight for something I felt was valid, as far as if anybody messed with my sister, I would fight them. If somebody hit me to the point where it was like it hurt, not shoving me. I'm not going to fight you because you're shoving me, but, and I didn't want to fight people who were obviously who appeared tough. And this chick, she was like a tomboy. She was like a tough big chick. And I don't know why she didn't like me. So either way, she's shoving me, and she shoves me into traffic. I almost got hit by a car. And then somebody finally steps in. They pretty much, the guy stepped in and was about to fight her. It was pretty much like, you need to back off type shit, And she did, and I don't think that was the end of it. I think I was pretty much in fear of seeing her, and if I did, it was more shoving. It was the thing to do. Let's shove people. That's how tough I am. I'm gonna shove you. I don't know. I don't know. So there's that, and yeah, she lives across the street from me. And I think that's pretty much the only physical bullying that I dealt with in junior high, as opposed to the verbal. I was still crusty Kristy, and in junior high, it was the Hair Bear days, and I was hanging out with my my friends Heather and Jessica, who were involved with a certain group of people. And it was cool to poof up your bangs and your hair and, you know, the hair bear days. And people try to make fun of me for that. It was the overall Dickies days, you know, the striped overalls or the solid overalls. Like, it was, that shit was cool. And even when I was trying to fit in with my little group of friends, like, I would still get, like, picked on and, like, just to the point where it just made you feel like you're nobody. And it's like, and everybody chimed in because you're the outcast. And, like, there was one time where somebody threw gum in my hair. They were sitting behind me and they just spit gum in the back of my hair to where it had to be cut out. Like, I had to shave the back of my hair because I didn't know what had hit my hair at the time. So I was touching it, rubbed it into a whole bunch of my hair, and they couldn't even get it out with peanut butter. So I had to shave the back of my hair. Luckily, that was in at that time too. Yeah, y'all think that shit's just started? No, we were shaving the back of our hair, the back of our heads in the early 90s, because that was like 92, 93-ish. So yeah, and then we enter high school, and there was this one girl. I'll never forget her. Lisa. Never forget your name. Y'all are lucky I don't blast your last names on here, but you know who you are by the story and by your name. But girl, if you were to bully me today, I swear you would lose your fucking limbs. So this girl, she didn't like me because I didn't like one of her friends who was making fun of my best friend Chantel at the time. I was making fun of her friend Christina because Christina didn't like my best friend Chantel and would say some stupid shit to her. And so I would make fun of her. You know, I'm sticking up for my best friend, especially, you know, if I cross paths with this girl at school and she was by herself, because I was like, what's up, we're by ourselves, and this is what I got to say to you, you know, you're not with your friends. And I'll say something with my friend and without my friend to this day. Still the same motherfucker. I'll still do that shit. So her friend Lisa didn't like it, and so Lisa's the type of person too. I'll say shit to you, and I'll say shit with my friends and without my friends. But Lisa actually, it wasn't what she said. It was more of what she did. So this chick thought it would be cool to shove me into a locker almost on a daily basis. This was the time where my stepmom told me that if I get into a fight at school, I get in a fight at home. Like, I'm a teenager. Like, we're really gonna do that shit? Like, we really gonna do that? So I didn't do anything, and I didn't want to get suspended. Like, I really hated being at school as it was, like, just because of the torment that I dealt with from my peers from elementary, junior high, and now into high school. I didn't care about my education if it didn't have anything to do with art. So if I wasn't in art class, photography class, dance class, I didn't care about school. Oh, econ class, I loved economics. Like, I loved it. The teacher was awesome. I learned about stocks, all sorts of shit. Like, that was a bomb-ass class. Everything else, I really didn't give a shit about because I sucked at math. I really didn't care about English. I had to take a fucking language. Like, it was mandatory. And I wish it wasn't because, okay, so in high school, my maiden name, last name is Garcia. Like I said before, I'm Portuguese. And I went to school with a lot of Hispanic people. A lot of gangbangers, too, whether they were female or male. A lot of gangbangers. And at the time of my bullying by some of the Hispanics, and the reason why they did it was because I was a white girl with a Mexican last name. Literally, that's what I was told. Like, look at this white girl trying to be a Mexican with her last name. Like, that was literally shit that was told to me. And I remember the person who told me that too. Her name was Renee. Big girl. Wasn't even trying to mess with that girl. Was not trying to get my butt kicked for no reason by that girl because she was a big girl. But to get my butt kicked over my own last name that I was born into, it's just beyond me. But yeah, so I didn't want to take Spanish because most of her friends and her and the people who made fun of me because of what she said were in that class. I would even, if I were to pass by that class, there was times where I would have to pass by in the hallway. They would see me if the door was open and harass me from the Spanish class in English and Spanish. Like, no fucking joke. Fighting at my high school back then was the thing to do. Like, there were some angry teenagers. Like, we were all trying to figure out who the fuck we were. Me and my own best friend Chantel got into a fight. Even though it wasn't at school, we were high schoolers, and we only, our friendship didn't last into sophomore year, unfortunately. It was really stupid. We, like, got into a fist fight over her falling out of my bunk bed, and we were just talking shit to each other, and then I kicked her out, and she was still talking shit and kicking my door, and then we just got into a fight. It was really stupid, and I wish it never happened. And I even called her mom and was like, I just beat up your daughter. Come pick her up. Like, come get her. It was so awful. Like, I wish I never did that because I had, like, the time of my life with that girl. Like, we had a really good friendship, but that in turn made me and my best friend to this day, Jenny, closer. And Jenny started attending my high school. But either way, so I got bullied by the Hispanic chicks because of my last name. My cousin even had to come to the high school at one point in time because these girls were trying to follow me after school and threatened to do so. And I didn't want to get beat up by a bunch of gangbangers. Like, I'm good. And so my cousin came to the school and was like, you're not touching her. I'm going to touch you. And my cousin at the time looked like a gangbanger from somewhere else. Like, she looked like straight chola from, like, LA or some shit. Like, it was kind of funny, actually. I'm like, yeah, come be on my side. Fuck these people. But yeah. So, yeah. There was that. There was Lisa shoving me into the lockers. There was still the verbal bullying from people. Here's another one I just remembered. So I had another best friend, but this was a best friend that I had from, I consider her my best friend, from childhood till about junior high school, because I did some stupid ass shit. Usually I do some stupid ass shit because it's not that I was born late, but I say, being that I wasn't allowed to do a lot of things that my peers did, I don't feel that I was able to grow up with them and learn the things that they learned at the age that I should have. So I kind of felt behind in some things and a little bit immature in how I would do things or say things or whatnot. So had this best friend of Patty from about the age of 5 until about junior high. She used to live next door to me in the apartments, and her grandpa, I think, ran the apartments, and then, like, her aunt ran the apartments, and whatever. Like, we all, like, grew up together in the apartments. Like, we had 4th of Julys together in the apartments, setting off fireworks, having barbecues, having fun, swimming together. I would go to her soccer games. Like, we were in a little dance squad together. I considered her my best friend, and, like, our families would hang out, and then there was a falling out. So I don't know if the parents had a falling out, but her and I had a falling out. So it's so stupid. I'm, like, so embarrassed to say this, but this is my truth. I am the real Kristy J. Excuse me. So we were just starting, this was about 7th or 8th grade. We were just starting to learn about AIDS, and I didn't really know what it was. It was, in my mind, it wasn't something serious because I didn't know really what it was. And I made this stupid joke of saying, oh, Patty has AIDS. Why the hell would I say that? I don't know. I, to this day, don't know. I do remember when I said it, I was just like, why did I say that? Like, why did I say that? Like it makes no sense. It was just completely stupid. It was just like the not thinking before you speak type shit, and uneducated, and it was stupid. But it ended my best friendship with her, and she didn't like me from then on out. We tried to reconnect years later as adults, but it was like through social media. It wasn't like really hanging out. And then I kind of got offended because she turned down my wedding invitation, and it kind of hurt my feelings because I really only invited those who have been in my life for a period of like 10 plus years, because those people have really made an impact on my life. And even though I didn't see people a lot, there were some people I still considered as like family, and wanted to share my special day with them. And she was one of them, and she made up some lie and then just got really cocky and some other shit. And I don't like it when people get cocky and like pop their gums. And so I just deleted her and just ended it and was just like, whatever. I don't even want to hear what you have to say anymore, because I'm just like, I don't care. So anyway, I lost my best friend in like 7th grade, and that's how I met my other best friend, Chantel, which I think was like in 8th grade, and that only lasted until like sophomore year because we got into a fight. But either way, so as we're getting into high school, there was an incident that had happened, and I know Patty and her cousin Holly did it because there was a picture taken of me in elementary school when me and Patty were friends, and we had dressed up for something. In school they have those days where it's like wacky hair day or opposites day or twin day or whatever it is, and I was wearing a jean jacket with New Kids on the Block patches on it. Like, I love New Kids on the Block. That was my first concert. They were the shit. Joey was my dude because he was the youngest. I was like, oh, that's my guy. You know what I mean? And then my stepmom did my hair kind of like Hair Bear shit, but not like Chola Hair Bear like I did in junior high with my girls. So there's a picture taken of me dressed, I looked nice. I looked cute. So this picture was printed onto hundreds of pieces of paper, whether it was white, blue, orange, yellow, pink, green, hundreds of pieces of paper, and it had my picture on it, and it said something to the effect of Kristy Garcia sucks dick, or sucks dicks, or something to that extent. And I guess this was thrown all over the school as far as the girls' bathrooms. At high school, mind you. This was put all up in the girls' bathrooms, and I can't remember where else. I just remember the vice principal pulling me into the office, and he thought it was something that I did. No, sorry, no, I'm mixing it up. No, he pulled me into the office because they found it before school had started. Or maybe it had just had started. I don't remember, but it was very early in the morning, and they had taken all of it down. I mean, they had like this stack of papers with my picture on it saying Kristy Garcia sucks dicks or something to the effect, and very derogatory. And so they had collected it, and they were like, do you know who did this? And at the time I didn't. I didn't put the pieces together, and until my stepmom seen it, because I told her I was being bullied, and she didn't believe me. And so I finally, I think I kept one of them, and I showed her, or maybe the principal had told her, I can't remember. And she was like she told me where the picture was taken. Like, she helped me put the pieces together, and so we figured out who it was, because it couldn't be anybody else. Like, and the fact that Holly's mom was running the apartment complex and had an office, they had access to a printer and a lot of paper. And they were really conniving back then. I mean, I even got made fun of because I started puberty before they did. And this is really silly. It's my truth. But we were swimming. We were all swimming when we were supposedly friends. And I had pubic hair, and I guess it was coming through my bathing suit, and I didn't know, and they seen it, and they made fun of me for it. Like, I even got made fun of for starting puberty before they did. I started wearing a training bra before a lot of girls did in 5th or 6th grade, and I got made fun of for it, and my stepmom made me do it. Like, she felt that I needed to, because I needed to get used to it. I needed to start being more feminine, and one day I might have boobies. Like, granted, I got small boobies, but she made me do it, and I got made fun of for it. Even though somebody at the time, I think it was a teacher, I think it was Miss Crawl. No. Miss Crawl was not that nice. It was Miss Cavalier. Miss Cavalier had set me aside and was like, this isn't something you need to be embarrassed about. But, no. It was her class, but it was an older girl. You know how, like, the 6th graders were kind of like mentors or something to, like, 4th graders or whatnot. I think it was something like that. But either way, yeah. So that's what happened as far as high school and my wonderful bullying and the verbal, the physical, being shoved into lockers and people trying to fight me and being shoved around campus and like people like chasing me and like running after me and like, God, like to some it might not seem like much, but if you are the individual and that fear is just put into you and you just can't figure out what the hell these people's problems are and what you did, it's fucking scary. And especially when you deal with a stepmom at home that is abusive, because she has whooped you before with a metal paddle on your bare ass and is not afraid to do it again and again and again and again, and then tells you if you get into a fight at school, you get into a fight with me at home, and then doesn't believe you when you tell you that you're being bullied, because I figured it out. I think today I finally found the answer of why she didn't believe me that I was being bullied and why she didn't allow me to do home studies, because what she couldn't do to me while I was at school, other people were doing. And I think she got her jollies out of that because I'm the daughter of her enemy. She hates my mom. My mom doesn't hate her, but she hates my mom. My mom has tried to make things like work with her, has offered to be like, hey, let's go to lunch, let's just squash this shit, like we're adults, let's just get over this. And then my mom doesn't remember a lot of things because my mom is a breast cancer survivor and she went through chemo, and chemo does a lot of shit to you, especially back then in the 80s. And so a lot of her memory is just shot, and she wanted to make amends, and my stepmom is just so awful that she doesn't even want to just squash it. But either way, so what my stepmom couldn't do to me because I wasn't home, she thought was okay for others to do to me at school. But if I fought back, then I get to deal with her when I get home. Like, such a mental fucking mind fuck, you know what I mean? Like, you can't defend yourself. Like, where here I am now as an adult, and I wish I could defend myself against all that. Like, I wish I could go back in time as me now and be like, let's do this. Let's fucking go. I would defend myself against everybody, including my stepmom. Like, I wish I had the voice now then. So I don't think my parents would have, my dad and my stepmom, I don't think they would have lasted. I don't think I would have kept in all the shit that went down. Yeah. So that's that. Just be good to one another out there. Like, seriously, like, I know I'm not a perfect human being, and I know I've said some awful and stupid shit out of anger, but I don't do it just out of nowhere. I react when people hurt me, especially when the people I don't expect to hurt me, and when they do it the way that they do it after what I have done for them and what I would continue to do for them. Like, I give people too many chances, and I don't get many chances in return. In fact, I just constantly get guilt trips of what I said and what I did and my past constantly held against me because apparently I can't change and everybody else is, but in fact they're not. And here I am actually changing and trying to grow and trying to be better. And I mean, I have a lot of apologies to give out because there are some things that have recently happened that I don't feel good about today because every day I'm trying to be a better version of myself. And I have said and done things out of anger, but a lot of people have done things to me for me to do that. And just one of my biggest gripes is liars. Like, don't lie. Like, just don't lie and just be good to one another. Just don't lie. Don't be a bully. Just be good to one another. Just find that compassionate spot in your body and just try to put yourself in that person's shoes. And if they are saying mean things to you, just remember it's a reflection of them. I know I've said things because it's a reflection of me and what I've gone through. And I'm trying to reveal that truth. And I'm trying to come to terms with that truth. And I'm trying to get that out there so I can just move on as a person. And I encourage everybody else to do the same. So that's it for this one. I'm out. Peace.